This is a demonstration of making a single line fidget spinner. So it's all on one line when you're making this. So I'm going to go through each steps of producing this drawing. So right now I'm just kind of deleting them. So we'll get rid of them. Reminding you up here, first thing you want to do is change it to your first initial, last name, and whatever you're making. So this is a spinner. And I want to get rid of these ones. So this is the parts for to put on the caps, and then you have also the base model for it. So drawing it, what you first want to do is have your three holes that are all at 22 millimeters. We're looking down here at millimeters. The snap says 1.0 millimeters, that's fine. I want to drag it out so we have it at 22 by 22. And from there we can just duplicate them. So if I have this selected, I just hit the duplicate and it made another one on top of it. I can move it over straight down the line and duplicate it again. Okay, so we have three of them in a row. And it's real important that when you make them that you notice how it overlaps just one square off the bigger line on each of these things. And I want to center them up, like this one's 2 over, so I want to move it so it's just one square off of there. So there's like not a whole square in between each of those. Okay. So it's all set. So I've got three of them, and they're all 22 by 22. The height of them is going to be 7 for the object, but you don't have to worry about that now. So next I'm going to select the solid cylinder, and I can click in the center of this, but then I need to drag it out so it's 28 by 28. So making sure my directions that's 28 by 28. So there's 28 one direction, 28 by 28. Then I need to move it over. So it's basically, if I'm looking here, it's about 3 squares out on each side to it. If I look on this side, or if I look on the other side, I can move it to the center here so you can see better. But I'll need to duplicate these. So I think it's 4 out, 1, 2, 3, 4. On this side, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I turn it to look at it and down through it, you see 4 on each side there. Here's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. So it's dead centered now. And it kind of looks that way too. Once that's done, again, you're going to duplicate it. And then all you have to do is move it down to the other one, making sure it's 4 lines over. I did it 5, there's 4. And I'm going to duplicate again in the other direction. So it's 4 this way. It doesn't look like there's 4 and 4. You can always zoom in closer to see better. You can always click the shape stuff. So I have it 1, 2, 3, 4. It's on that same line. Double checking myself. Looks like that's right there. Yep, same line. Now the problem with these ones, they're too tall. These have to be moved down to, they're only 7 tall. So I could do each one like that, which would be a pain. I'm going to undo. So what I can also do is just take and group them. So I click out side of it, the box, and I'm going to highlight across them. It's not letting me highlight at the moment. I don't know why. I'm going to zoom out further. There. Now I can highlight across all of them, and then I'm going to group them. So you got the holes in it now. Now I'm just going to move it down to its 7 tall. So there's 7 right about there. Okay. After that's done, you kind of need to have them connected, and we're just going to do a box across them. And before we do this, I want to ungroup them again, so it'll create holes in them in a minute. So I'm going to take a box here, and that box should be from square to square like it is. It's fine. And we're going to put a box right on the line here, and we're going to take another one here, and we're going to draw that down to 7 also. 7. And this one I'm going to draw down to 7. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to put the line across all of them, and I'm going to group them. And then you see you have them all attached. So that's the basic part of the spinner part. Now all we have to do is create the little caps for them. Making a cap, it's kind of, you have to make them even. So I'm going to take a cylinder, put it in the center here, and that has to be taken down or taken in, so it is 8 by 8. So the most inner part is 8 by 8. 8 by 8, and I'm going to move it over so that line is in the center of here. If you can't see it, just make it a hole for a minute so you can see down. See, I'm off by 1. Zoom back a little bit. So I need to move it over so it's in the center right there. And I can take it back to being a solid so I know it's centered. Alright. Next one around there is got to be a 4.5 by 12. So I'm going to take another cylinder. I might change it to another color to make it easier for myself. Turn it to red. Just click the solid and then click the color red. Now I'm going to bring this down to 4.5. Now notice that I can't do that because it goes from 1 millimeter to another. So you can go from here at 5, and you have to change the snap grid and change that down to 0.5. Then you can move it 1 spot less. So it's 4.5 right there. I'm going to change this back to a 1 scale again. So we got 4.5. We want to move this down to 12 by 12. And then I'm going to put it in the center around this. Now, again, having trouble with seeing with it. So if the normal squares are 20 by 20, you can see from the center line how far you're counting out to one side or the other to the box. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other side it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So it's centered that way. We'll check this way. From this line, from the center line right here, counting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know it's centered. And this is 4.5 tall. Okay, this one should be 8 tall if I have it right. So nope, it's 20. I'm going to bring it down so it's 8. Forgot to move that. So it's going to be 8 tall. And once you have it 8 tall, you also want to have this top a little bit rounded, or called beveled. So I'm going to do is just take it and move it to the right a little bit. You see, if I do it too much, it has this big round part to it. But I want to take it into about 20, and we could call it 0.5. We could type it here. If you click here, you can type 0.5 and return, and that will change the round that you need. Okay. The last segment for the cap, I'm going to do one more cylinder, and that cylinder is going to be at 22 by 22. So we have to bring it out further, and that's going to be pretty simple to do. You also want, the height of it is going to be down at 4. So I'm going to take it down to 4. Right there. And this one also, we're going to have the bevel at 0.5. Okay. Now, got it at 22 by 22. I'm going to take it over here. And it's going to be, you can see from the center, which is not in the center yet. There's the center. And it is 22 by 22. So it should be 2 out from that line. It doesn't look like, or 1 out from that line. I'm not sure. 1 out. I'm going to turn it, and so it's 1 out on the other side too. See, from the edges, it should be 1 line out from the edge, and 1 line out from the edge there. So you can see all the way around. So the top was 8. This disc is 4.5, and the bottom disc is 4. And after that's done, I highlight it. I'm going to group it. Now we need 2 caps for it. So you take it and duplicate it and move it right next to it. Okay? And that is the finish for your spinner.